start provisioning for part 2 of our trip from La Paz to San Diego. This should last us a couple of days. I'll show you the bill when I get up there. The word boat applies to groceries.
48.57.
You recording? Yep. Get a picture. Sonríe. Vas a estar en un canal bien famoso. Get your fingers out of the way. Sí.
¿Qué lado?
9,000, 10,000 pesos, 500 bucks. There we go. Is that my camera? Mm-hmm. Good. Keep it going. I got much to pull up this stuff. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Buen día. Buen día. Wow, muchachos, vamos a María La Paz. Uy. Mucha comida. You're good. Good. Start it and I'll tell you when to stop. What? You are videoing this, right?
Yep.
They say it's better than an outboard.
It's gonna be great if you go
I
over.
took a bite of the pie. This is going on that and going to the States. And no, I didn't buy it. It's his. I'm not that bad. I know I'm senile, I'm getting old, but I'm not that bad yet. Hey guys, I remember I told you I was going to make part 2, heading from here, from Mexico, from La Paz to San Francisco. And we did start that trip. However, we had a few snafus along the way. Some of the crew couldn't make the trip, so we were reduced in size with people, so I had to do this boat by myself. And my dear son, adopted son Ivan, and his girlfriend Michelle were helping me on the sailboat. Alita's over there if you want to just pan over and take a look at it, Ivan. So what kind of happened is we took off. I had the boat, the dinghy, hanging off the side of the boat like you've seen in other videos. I don't want to bring it all the way up to the top deck. It's a pain in the neck, and if I need to put it in the water, it's hassle to take it off. So I just hang it up halfway up the boat. We're doing fine. The stabilizers were working. The boat's going along. We hit some heavy seas, not too bad, but without the stabilizers, it could be bad. And what happened is the waves were coming up. They're about 4 to 5 footers, which isn't big, but when the boat's rocking and it's coming down to me, I was picking the dinghy up and then pulling it down on the cables. So the crane broke off, and the dinghy and the crane and everything went in the water. I didn't lose it because the dinghy was held on by ropes, but it hit the side of the boat. A little bit of scuffing, nothing. It'll buff out, let's put it that way. And but I had to stop. And with the crane broken and the stabilizers failed, I didn't realize the stabilizer had failed. I just thought it was big seas, and I was like, this is odd that it's rocking so much. And then when I went and looked at when the thing finally broke, I was like, well, now this is a lot of rocking. And then I looked into it, I thought, oh my God, I got no stabilizers. And this boat, it's great with stabilizers, and it's decent without them. But if you get rough seas, and we had a long ways to go, a couple, over 1,000 miles, we're like, well, let's just turn around and lick our tails. Ivan made the good suggestion, head back to La Paz, which we did. I picked up all the pieces with his help. Basically, I had to cut the dinghy loose. I tied it, let it drift off since he was with Michelle. She was able to handle that boat really well. And Ivan jumped in the dinghy. I was out there floating in the ocean. Started up the motor. Brought the pieces back. I grabbed the crane, pulled up the crane. He held onto the dinghy. We went back to La Paz, and we changed plans. So now we're going back to Penasco because the place that fixes the stabilizers it's the Naiads. They're in San Diego, and Penasco is close to the border. It's close to Phoenix. It's close to San Diego. And before I make that loop, I want to have stabilizers. So that's where we're at. I'm going to show you a couple pictures of the carnage afterwards. It was an exciting, well, it was about a 2-hour recovery. Something that sounds, I'm making it sound simple. It was quite brutal. What happened is when the dinghy fell in the water, it was creating, with the crane, it was creating so much drag that it was like a drogue, and it was steering the boat, making it do in circles. So the autopilot couldn't hold the course. That's why I had to cut the dinghy off, and then the autopilot could hold the course into the waves, which I held it there, and that's how we got everything in. But it was quite a few hair-raising moments, those kinds that make you want to sell the boat for $1 as soon as you arrive at port. But better brains prevailed after a hot shower and a warm meal and a phone call to my sweetheart, baby, all that kind of stuff. Girls are great to make you feel comforted when you're doing what men do, the right thing, but without their approval, if you know what I'm talking about here. Judging by Michelle's expression here, I am definitely politically offline on this one, but I'm sure you guys know who I am. So let me show you the carnage and show you what happened. So here's a picture of the crane. You can see it snapped off right here. It had the winch and everything on it. I took it all apart and I just lassoed it up here. Here's the other half over here. It broke off clean right there. And this is what it's supposed to look like. And that's what I ended up with. And it went overboard all the way down there. You can see where it hit the boat. Right there. Oh, you can't see that. Right there. And of course it hit the rail here. Dented it. Scraped it on the way over. Hook, line, and sinker. The whole thing went over. There's the dinghy. It went over with everything. So basically this pole, when that thing broke, the base completely kicked off. The steel base down here, I've since repaired it and screwed it back in the floor, but this base kicked out, this pole flipped out, the top one went overboard into the water, and that's basically what happened. Since then, since we like barbecuing, I moved this from downstairs up to here so we can have our barbecues. And you can see on the front of the dinghy, let me go down and show you. It took a beating. They broke it. It's all broken here. You can see that over here. That's all snapped off. And this rope was the one that was holding it on. And I did have some rings with the hooks that held it together there, but I've taken them off since then, since now I just towed the dinghy. So it's always behind us when we travel. And that's it. So we're in Puerto Escondido. It's a nice little place on our way north. And we should be in Peñasco in about 7 to 10 days. So that's it. Peace out, guys. Part 2, and there'll obviously gonna be a part 3 because we didn't make the loop.